Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and if you thought spoilers were gonna stop, well, then you're bad at math. Let's start with Bond of Discipline. Tap all creatures your opponents control. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn for 5. Well, this is yet another blue effect that can't stay in its lane for some reason. And you know how annoying sleep was when people played Merfolk? This is sleep on steroids. I mean, it is 5, so there's that, but you just cast this to win the game. It's that simple. And in the extremely uncommon case that you don't, they gained lifelink, so that's fine. You can take a counter swing. Your options are, when this come out, to flash in a creature or counter the spell. Otherwise, you lose the game. The card literally could have said, cast this and win the game. Completely and utterly ridiculous and beyond overpowered. So next up, we've got Bond of Flourishing. Oh, I can't wait to see the other 3. So for 2 as a sorcery, you look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. You gain 3 life. 3, you could really whiff on that. I don't know. And it could be a land. It's so unspecific. It's just like, draw something, maybe. It's just an unreliable bad card. Next up, Bond of Insight. Each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. That's each player, including you. Return up to 2 instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand, and then exile Bond of Insight. Whenever a card ends with "and exile it," you know it's overpowered, broken, and ridiculous, because they knew if you could do this too many times in a game, that would just be outrageous. Well, you self-mill for 4, you mill your opponent for 4, so I'm not sure what the point of that is. This costs way too much mana. And okay, you get an instant or sorcery back, but then you have to probably wait until the next turn to cast them. The problem is you can tell that's an Is-It character, and you can tell this is an Is-It card. So yeah, Is-It just sitting there getting spells back is ridiculous. It's just so broken. Entrancing Melody, even just like Shock or Skewer the Critics. Well, then imagine somebody grabbing Settle the Wreckage in a Teferi deck with this. Yay. At least it costs 4. Yeah, these Bond cards are completely out of control. So next up, Bond of Revival. Return target creature card from your graveyard directly to the battlefield with no restriction on its size or mana cost. And it gains haste until your next turn because your opponent wasn't screwed enough. Wow, that's fair. Just bring out a 10 cost, 8 cost, 14 cost. Bring out Emrakul. Who cares? So this is about as problematic as Whip of Erebos, and people hated that stupid card. So yeah, putting no restriction on it, on the power, the size, the CMC, none of that. What the hell were they thinking? These Bond cards, I legitimately didn't think they could fit more just disastrously overpowered and broken shit into this piece of garbage that they call War of the Spark, and yet here it is. This card just violates one of the basic tenets of the game. Now, at a very low level, there are way, way, way worse ones out here, like, what is it, Spark Clone or whatever? You slap Legendary on a creature and on a Planeswalker because that's the limiter. That's the safety net. That's to make sure that you can't get out 2 of them, because having 2 of them would be too powerful. And then they just print that, or it's like, fuck it. I have 2 Teferis. Who gives a shit? I have 2 Gultas. Whatever. Fuck off. You can't just print cards that just break a basic safety rule of the game that's for balance, fairness, and just making the math work. You can't do that. And this, when I finally blow your shit up and send it to the graveyard, I don't want to see it again the next turn with haste. That's why I blew it up. So yeah, this makes Rise from the Grave look like nothing. This is just completely overpowered. So next up, oh thank God, it's an unusable pile of shit. Centaur Nurturer, 2/4 for 4. When it enters battlefield, you gain 3 life, which you're going to need because it taps for 1 mana and costs 4. Worst ramp card I've ever seen. And if you're going to say, oh, well, it's for 5 color late game. It's for like gates. It's for 5 color whatever. I don't know. Div Mizzet. Spoiler alert. The last thing you want when you really need those colors that late into the game is something that's this easy to destroy. With all the enchant a land and then the land can tap for 2 compared to this garbage, no, it's unplayable. Next up, Contentious Plan. It looks like Vraska Jason Gideon, maybe. So this is just proliferate, draw a card. It's just proliferate in cantrip form. Maybe they should have named this, get your Planeswalker's ult off way the fuck too early and then draw a card to replace it. Oh, they could have titled the card Super Friends but with 56 cards. This is unbelievably broken outside of Standard, but it's even worse in Standard with all the Planeswalkers. Next up, Finale of Promise. Oh good, it's a red mythic. At least I can breathe easy and know that this will probably be absolute ass. Remember, they throw a red mythic that is just 35-cent trash into every single set. This has to be it. We haven't had one yet. That's a lot of words, though. I don't know. Let's see. So it's sorcery speed, double red X. You may cast up to one target instant card and or up to one target sorcery card from your graveyard, each with converted mana cost X or less, without paying their mana costs. I mean, except you kind of had to, because like it's part of X. You had to pay its CMC +2, but then it qualifies 2. That's actually pretty fair mathematically. See, free casting is just fine as long as they make you pay the mana cost. I mean, that sounds stupid to say, but that's what it is. So if a card was cast this way, or if a card cast this way would be put in your graveyard this turn, exile it. Duh. I mean, that's just how the game works, except for Nexus of Fate. Whoopsies. If X is 10 or more, as if, copy each of those spells twice. What? You may choose new targets. Dude, that's never going to happen. If you can generate 12 mana, just win the game some other way. Or cast this. At that point, I wouldn't even give a shit. I mean, I've seen Christmas decks do this. A lot of them splash white for that Hexproof Angel, too. I mean, this is just Riot. Your shit can't get countered. But then, like, why would you have instants and sorceries in the graveyard? What is it, like a Force Fight card? Who cares? I mean, this would be wonderful in an Izzet deck, except where the hell are you going to get 12 mana in an Izzet deck? I mean, they draw a lot of cards, but, you know, if you're running 20 out of 60, which maybe 20, 21, I don't know, to draw 12 lands, on average, you would need to draw 36 cards. You're not going to do that and live. If you do end up doing that, it's because your opponent is playing Esper Control, and you're not going to resolve this. Seriously, all I'm seeing on Arena now is fucking Esper Control. Just Teferi and Kaya bullshit. Just 50 minutes of my time per game wasted. Just absolute horseshit. Fucking no win con garbage. And all they did was add Izzet to the mix of all this other garbage and make Esper worse. Wow, thanks guys. War of the Spark, I can't even put into words how much of a disaster this will be in Standard. I know some of you, a small portion of you in my comment section, don't believe me. Wait and see. And you better hope I don't screenshot your comment and throw it back in your face in a future video. So next up, Firemind Vessel. Spoiler alert, Niv Mizzet dies. I think he actually already died in the storyline. I don't know. And then they revive him with this thing, the little Wizard of Oz mask here. So besides that, this thing is outrageously powerful, especially for an uncommon. So it enters battlefield tapped, which it has to. It fucking has to. And then it's 4 costs. You can put it in any deck, and you can tap for 2 mana of different colors. So they can't be the same color, but it's ramp 2. I mean, the fact that you can't use it immediately, yeah, because otherwise it would effectively cost 2 mana. It would be a 2 mana artifact that taps for 2. So yeah, thankfully you can't use it right away, but the turn after that, oh my god, you are ramped into oblivion. I mean, to go from 4 to 6, things that cost 4 are good, things that cost 6 are game ending. So yeah, this is crazy. The only card I can think of that's similar to this was something Hedron something. And people played the shit out of that card. Oh, and that generated 2 colorless. This is absolutely insane. I feel like this entire set of spoilers are all April Fool's jokes or something. Well, let's power through this shit. We've got Jace's Triumph with the dramatic artwork. Doesn't even look like Jace, typical. All the artists for this entire set, in case you didn't notice, really just were either given bad instructions or are really bad at their jobs. So anyway, draw 2 cards. If you control a Jace Planeswalker, draw 3 instead. It's just divination with more crap added. Oh wait, this and divination and chemist's insight are all legal at the same time, and you can clone this, and you can clone it multiple times. You can recover the card from your graveyard, and you can cast it directly from your graveyard and then exile it, like 9 different ways. You see why you can't just do shit like this, because then perfectly normal cards like this become overpowered as fuck? So Ultra Mega Story spoiler, it says on the bottom, his triumph was not in outsmarting Bolus's plan, but in understanding why ultimate power is self-defeating. So in other words, the spell does succeed. Gideon jumps for his face after the spell goes off with the Black Blade, fails to hit him, probably dies. And then, you know what, I'm sick of covering for them. Jace does something to trap Bolus on the meditation plane. If you didn't want it to be public information, then, and I know this is crazy, don't leak it. So next up, Niv Mizzet Reborn. He's 5 color because why not? Mark is just patting himself on the back until his hand falls off in an article about this. How could we do this? It's so brave. It's so bold. Oh, to put a 5 color in guilds. Nobody thought we could do it. Nobody wanted you to do it. How about that? This is probably just some gate assistance bullshit, basically. You pay 1 of each, you get a 6/6 flyer, cool. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, which they still haven't really defined, choose a card that's exactly those colors from among them. Put the chosen cards into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So the initial prototype of this card referenced the guilds directly, but that was clunky, weird, and situational, and relied on people knowing what the lore was. So they changed it at the last second to that atrocity. So I assume what they mean is for each color pair that exists. So every combination of exactly 2 colors that you can put together. When I first read it, I thought it's cards that match a color. Like, here's a white card, here's a white card. Ooh, color pair. I mean, they just said reveal the top 10 cards of your library. And then the next sentence has absolutely nothing to do with what you just did. I guess it's just a reference to color pairs in general, like logical matchups. And even then, you don't really know how this works until they show the card rulings, which I could say that about 5 cards from this set. So, wow, they dropped the ball on this one. So you look at the top 10, a third of them are lands, so ditch those. You might get some multicolored stuff. Cool. Most of the Gates cards aren't. You got the colorless golem, you got the mono green sheep thing, goat, whatever the hell it is. You got the Sphinx, which is not 2 colors. This wasn't even printed for standard, was it? Let's be honest. It's just for commander. Whatever, waste of a mythic slot. I'm not saying it won't be worth money. I'm just saying it's a waste of a mythic slot for standard. Next up, Pledge of Unity, which was clearly just stolen from that crappy Superman movie. Let's see. It's an instant and it costs 3. Oh, this one. I remember this shit. I looked at these when I was pretending to do work at my other job. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. You gain 1 life for each creature you control. So it's like Riot Control mixed with Oath of Gideon. Or no, was that Oath of Ajani was the one that dumped counters. And they put them on the same card at instant speed, so you can do this in the middle of combat for 3. The only thing keeping this from being outrageously, stupidly overpowered is the fact that nobody can play Selesnya. Not just nobody does play it, nobody can play Selesnya. There's too many board wipes, too much control. The second you get your 4th or 5th creature out, they're gone. I mean, Kaya's Wrath, Cleansing Nova, anything. Certain black cards, certain planeswalkers, goodbye. Welcome to Standard 2019, where you basically can't even have creatures. It's just a War to See who runs out of cards first. So this is useless and dead on arrival, while simultaneously being overpowered as all hell. I mean, the power creep in this set, it's just stupid. It is just stupidly overpowered. If you had 10 creatures out, you just added 10 to their total attack power while gaining 10 life. I mean, that's just stupid. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Oh, and you can do it as an ambush in the middle of combat after they've already very carefully put blocks together. And in case it backfires, you just gained a fuck ton of life on top of it. Who approved this shit? So next up, Toll of the Invasion. Oh, I know. I'm having a similar reaction to these fucking cards. Sorcery speed, 3 costs. Oh, good, it's a discard. Target opponent reveals their hand. I mean, for 3, good luck. You choose an on-land card from it. That player discards that card, amass 1. Now, see, in an amass deck, this would be good. If you're just using this as a discard spell, it's absolute shit. So it is what it is, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be playing amass. It's 3 color, it's weird, it's weak, and it puts all your eggs in one basket. You can't play a recurring 1 single super creature against the level of creature kill and control that people have right now in Standard. You can't do it. Well, thankfully, that is the last card for today, although, where the hell is Zombie Mittens? We want to see the White God. It must be some special kind of broken if we didn't get to see it yet, and they're holding it back for no reason out of pattern. I can't wait. So anyway, we're at 195 out of 264, so that means that there are at least 69 more broken as fuck cards, not counting the Planeswalker decks. So in all likelihood, 72 more cards that we're going to see that are just game ruining. They're just, everything in this fucking set is game ruining. It's not even just, oh, look at these 2 cards that they're really pushing the limits on. It's like, look at these 30 cards that are provably historically problematic. It's just unbelievable. This isn't just, okay, they're going to have to roll out some bans. Okay, they didn't know what standard would look like before they, rolled these out. Oh, okay, whatever, they'll fix it with a ban. This is like, what the fuck are they going to do? Are they actually going to ban 10, 15, 20 cards? Because that's what they're going to have to do to make this game vaguely resemble something playable. This is going to make Modern look weak and slow by comparison. This is just going to be a bunch of turn 4 blitz and hyper control complete fucking aids with nothing in the middle. So in other words, what we have now, but worse, because they're taking what we have now, doing nothing about it, and then adding cards to it. And then adding Is It Drakes to it. People ask me, oh, what deck are you excited about playing? Nothing. I'm not excited about shit with this stupid set. I'm not looking forward to playing it at all. I'm probably not going to be playing it at all, the way it looks. And it sounds like the most intelligent longtime viewers of my channel who have been playing the longest, yes, I know who you are, according to your comments in the comment section, you 100% agree. So if you're going to be one of those morons saying, oh, you're too negative, you're exaggerating, you say everything's broken, it's not going to be as bad as you think. First of all, what the fuck game have you been playing for the last 2 years? Ban counter's at 9. Right now, there are 2 deck archetypes you can play, and that's it. I mean, I get it. Some people are new to the game, but yeah, you're just looking like a complete idiot saying, oh no, there's nothing wrong with any of these cards. There is something wrong with every one of these damn cards. So get a clue or shut the hell up. Well, I can't wait for more spoilers. Woo! I'll see you guys next video.